Koji Sato was chosen as CEO on April 1 to take Akio Toyoda's place as head of the big Japanese automaker. In a lengthy interview with Autocar, he discussed the need for the top-selling automaker in the world to reduce emissions in order to meet the goals of the Toyota Environmental Challenge 2050, which calls for carbon neutrality by the middle of the century. As the objective is to invest in several technologies, he stressed that there is no one solution. Toyota faces many obstacles, including the durability of solid-state batteries, which Koji Sato described as a huge challenge, but he is positive about the future. If we get through this point, the energy efficiency will be really fantastic. We're on that, but we still need some time. In January 2022, Toyota announced it would have a hybrid with a solid-state battery on sale by 2025. The 53-year-old engineer claims that it will take time for synthetic fuels to develop as well. The energy needed to produce e-fuels is still too high, he said, and only further technological advancement would make widespread production of them possible. Porsche has begun producing synthetic gasoline at its plant in Chile because the sports car manufacturer believes the ICE can be saved despite the unavoidable transition to EVs. Thomas Schaefer, the brand manager for Volkswagen, recently described e-fuel as unnecessary noise, since internal combustion engines are old technology. Getting back to Toyota, Koji Sato acknowledges that Toyota might be falling behind other rivals in terms of EV offerings because it does not provide a wide range of zero-emission cars. He highlighted quality over quantity in a later remark, saying, "It's not just about numbers how many models we have on the market, but how good they are, for customers and the environment." The newly appointed head continued by saying that hydrogen should also be used to reduce emissions in addition to hybrids, plug-in hybrids, electric vehicles, and synthetic fuel. He wasn't just talking about fuel cells, he was also mentioning ICEs that had been converted to run on hydrogen, which are already present in the prototype GR Yaris and GR Corolla race cars. And let's dig in deeper to what e-fuels are. After being pushed by local German automakers, the EU opted to permit the use of synthetic fuels, or e-fuels, in automobile engines after the 2035 deadline for new petrol and diesel car sales. This has given the internal combustion engine another chance. However, what are they? Are they truly carbon neutral? Can our automobile engines run on them instead of fossil fuels? And do they suggest we might not ever need to switch to 100% electric? Due to the high-performance nature of their vehicles, which necessitates that they have a low weight free of bulky batteries, companies like Porsche and Ferrari are investing heavily in the manufacturing of e-fuels or synthetic fuels. A different approach that doesn't involve electric technology and produces no carbon emissions has so long been sought after. The cost of making these fuels, however, keeps them from being mass-produced in any significant quantities. So what exactly is synthetic fuel? Would it really increase the lifespan of gasoline-powered vehicles? And is this indeed a fix for the issue with mass production? What are synthetic fuels or e-fuels? Internal combustion engines, ICE, can run on synthetic fuels, which have no carbon emissions. In the manufacturing process, carbon dioxide is extracted and used to create synthetic gasoline, diesel, and natural gas. Without a battery pack in sight, the most environmentally friendly fuel is produced if the gasoline refinery is powered by renewable energy sources like wind power. This implies that you could possibly drive your Mustang while lowering your carbon impact. The best part is that you can fill up your automobile in seconds rather than minutes thanks to the ability of this environmentally beneficial alternative to gasoline to be distributed from the infrastructure of conventional filling stations. How are synthetic fuels made? Water is electrolyzed to yield its oxygen and hydrogen components, which are then combined to form synthetic fuels. The CO2 is then combined with the hydrogen to create synthetic methanol, which can then be refined to create synthetic gasoline or diesel to power your current ICE car in a method that effectively consumes CO2 rather than releasing it into the atmosphere. Can electric vehicles be replaced by synthetic fuels? The most sensible option right now is electric vehicles. For synthetic fuels to be widely available at a reasonable price, additional work needs to be done. Processing facilities are currently pricey and scarce. Because electrolysis uses a lot of electricity, as the name suggests, there must be an efficient technique to produce enough electricity to meet demand that is also both inexpensive and sustainable. Although synthetic fuels shouldn't be fully disregarded, electric automobiles are still miles ahead. The infrastructure is already in place because existing fuel stations may be used to distribute them. A hybrid powered by synthetic fuel may also turn out to be the best option overall because it is economical to operate, efficient in terms of fuel use, and good for the environment, if renewable energy sources are employed. What are the drawbacks of using synthetic fuels? Nothing is flawless, of course. Synthetic fuel production requires a lot of energy, and unless we can get enough wind, sunlight, waves, or whatever else we want to get our power from, we're going to have to continue using fossil fuels to generate clean fuels. It's not completely hopeless, though, because there is unquestionably enough wind that is guaranteed to blow in Chile to operate the turbines that will supply the facility with electricity. The drawback there is that Chile is in South America, making it difficult, if not impossible, to transport all that synthetic gasoline. There isn't a perfect response. Electric automobiles are the most practical option, and continual innovation and advancement in that field mean that many of today's problems are being addressed quickly and head-on. Another possibility that might emerge over time is synthetic fuels. And if it lessens the impact we have on the environment and powers older vehicles or vehicles that just cannot run on electricity at this time, it's worth looking into. The advantages of Toyota's low-carbon fuel over Porsche's synthetic fuel. Toyota is experimenting with alternate, cleaner source fuel. They think that by using alternative fuels, they might reduce emissions by 75%. The purer sources might be things like soybeans or other things. Traditional fossil feedstock wouldn't be present in them. Toyota's alternative fuels appear more hopeful as a result of the relationship between Exxon and Toyota, who state that they will require supportive policies to reach a lower emission future for transportation. Toyota is committed to reducing pollution, and its work on fuel may provide the cheap solution the world needs to continue using gas-powered vehicles for a while. Alternative fuel comparison between Toyota and Porsche. Logistics and optics are the main issues with Porsche's e-fuel. The majority of the industrialized world is pretty far away from the e-fuel facility in Punta Arenas, Chile. High transportation expenses result from this. How do we move fuel? Using standard gas-powered aircraft and watercraft. Logistically speaking, Porsche e-fuel is significantly less carbon neutral as a result. Then there are the visual aspects of Porsche e-fuel, which is the same fuel that you currently put in your car. The same emissions, identical levels of pollutants. The advantages of production are lost through its utilization. Public perception won't be in an advantageous position as a result. Wind energy is used in Porsche's synthetic fuel facility, making it more environmentally friendly. Overall, it appears to be a pricey option for Porsche owners to keep their gas-powered 911s on the road. Toyota hasn't made many disclosures regarding their fuel substitutes. All things considered, it will take a while and will need government assistance. They could create a new kind of gasoline that actually emits fewer hazardous emissions if they are able to fulfill any one of their promises. A less negative overall impact on the environment may result from using cleaner fuel. The Toyota Exxon alternative fuel appears to be far more strategically and financially realistic with government backing. Having said that, do you think e-fuels or synthetic fuels can compete with EVs? Considering most parts of the world are not prepared to adopt EVs. Let us know your thoughts in the comment box below. And if you've watched up to this point, thank you so much. For more videos about EVs, Toyota, Tesla, Ford, and the most recent auto news, please consider subscribing to Tech Addicts.